Hi, everyone. Silver Joker here. And I'm here with my good friend, Silver 5150, who needs absolutely no introduction whatsoever. It's been a while since we chatted, but we're going to try to do this more often. We're going to get right into this. Silver 5150, we got to talk about this. If you're buying physical bullion, you cannot buy physical bullion at spot price, and you shouldn't be selling it at or below spot price. But we have to talk about spot price because it's part of the scenery outside the window of this train on the journey we're on. So we got to talk about it. We can't pretend that it doesn't exist. But what is going on with spot price, man?
Well, reminiscent of March 2020 when we had the big dip. Remember, we got to 1187 or something like that the night before the 20th. It was the same kind of activity. It was the same kind of activity as it was back then, to where when you had a sell-off in equities. Now, let's back up a little bit. The stock market doesn't look like it's doing much, but you need to understand that every single central bank around the globe is working overtime to make sure the market doesn't fall too fast, talking about the equity markets. So we're not seeing that simultaneous rate of drop in the different asset classes, but it's the same thing to where, the stockholders know that they're about to get their shorts handed to them. So they're selling anything that can be used as capital that's not nailed down to either prepare or to mitigate those losses. And of course, gold and silver, they're probably more liquid than any other paper assets in paper form. And so they receive the brunt of the abuse.
Okay, well, look, I'm going to agree with all that, namely because I don't really understand a whole lot about what you just said, but I'm sure that we have hopefully thousands of people tuning in that do understand what you're saying. This is what bothers me about spot price. Not because, when spot price is low like it is now, it's silver's on sale.
Yes, it is.
I mean, it's on sale. I mean, you can buy it. It's a little bit easier to buy, a little bit more affordable. Premiums are still high. But this is what it does to people. When spot price does this, then it dissuades people who have just started buying silver. Now, this is my opinion. It dissuades people who may have just started buying physical bullion, and they bought it when silver was maybe $23, and they keep seeing it tick down, down, down. And so they're thinking that it wasn't such a smart idea to get into physical bullion. And also, it makes people believe that silver is not the
safe haven,
the safe haven that we preach it is. And both of those things are not true. Not true at all. Silver has, just like you said, silver has gone down to $11 before. I mean, just recently. And it's bounced back to as high as $25, $26. And it'll do that again. But this is the thing to think about. Whatever gains physical bullion makes, you will not be able to take advantage of that if you don't have it. That is the most important thing to keep in mind.
You have to have it first. And so that reminds me of the Walton family member that made the big purchase here recently.
Wow, isn't that something?
I think it was something. And, we don't, I think the projected number was $1 billion, but the initial purchase included some, of course, constitutional. By the way, your constitutional video the other day was excellent. People, check those out if you haven't.
Thank you very much.
And then she was going to get some gold, right? But then the big topper, of course, was the 900,000 American silver eagles.
900,000 American silver eagles. My God.
Yes.
Every time I think it boggles my mind. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm just in
No, that's
awe.
okay. So look, if you're a paper custodian of silver, SLV, one of these people that like to short through the commercial banks the silver price, get the spot price down. You want to slow down the drain on physical metal. What better way to do it than after a billionaire comes in and almost wipes out 2 or 3 retailers? What better way to slow them down than to discourage them by dropping the price $3 or $4 after they make their purchase? Because that's the thing. It's not. I mean, we're doing our bit. The silver rapes, the silver stackers out there. We're definitely taking the silver off the shelves. But if you create a groundswell of these ultra rich that are trying to move into physical assets doing it, then it's going to be overnight. And so they've got to sour the milk. They've got to do whatever they can to slow down that process. Don't make it a populism thing to where, it's good to have billionaires going out buying a bunch of silver and gold and stuff, because like I said, it'll be overnight.
If a billionaire is telling you by their actions that I'm going to move a significant portion of my cash out of fiat currency and into physical silver, that tells you the idea they have about our economy going forward when it comes to fiat.
Yes.
At least that's how I look at it.
No, you're on point. You're exactly on point, because that's the thing. They have made their bones in the fiat system. And possibly before that, they were in, a investment class that wasn't as fiat heavy, maybe energy or something. I don't know the Walton's history.
Right.
But what I do know is when you see stuff like this happen, when you see significant moves from one, say, medium of exchange to another, what you're witnessing is a wealth cycle transfer taking place within a single group. The Walton family, for example, this one person in it, she's deciding that she wants to transfer wealth out of fiat currency and into harder monetary currency, monetary metals. And so if I can't think of a better example for people to follow than that.
Exactly.
Now, and I also want to get into the semantics of the fact that she insisted on American Silver Eagles. Give me your thoughts on that.
I wouldn't even know where to start. If I had $1 billion, I wouldn't even know where to start. I'd probably want to buy every piece of silver that I see that I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I would just go crazy with
Silver Joker driving around in a rider, moving van.
I would literally be Scrooge McDuck swimming in a pool full of silver coins. Okay.
Oh man!
But no, this is what I think. I'm no expert in this at all. With my limited knowledge of how these things work, I would think that 900,000 American Silver Eagles have a monetary value because they do have a monetary value. They are monetized by the U.S. Mint for $1, right?
Right.
So that means technically she has $900,000 American dollars in her possession. So what better way if she has to claim that, she can just claim it as $900,000.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I think that saves her in some way that way. But I would say also because eagles are the most recognizable silver coin in the world.
It's true. It's true. And, they're feeling a sense of change and maybe patriotism. But I want to say something about the volume that took place. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but I remember when Rob Kirby was talking about how he would purchase gold for some billionaires and stuff like that. These guys would demand, tons of gold at a time. And the problem with that is because it's so hard to procure, there's a heavy premium to that. You guys think you're paying heavy premiums when you go to the online websites or eBay or, maybe your coin shop and stuff like that. The premiums the ultra rich pay on the stuff they get because they want so much of it right away is more than that, a lot more than that. And trust me, she paid a lot more than regular premiums for those eagles because the retailer had to scramble like crazy with his enemies. He had to make deals with his competition to get that order in.
All right. So, I want to ask you this too. I think we just touched on this just a little bit, but I hear that the Vatican is moving some money around?
Well, I assume when you say moving his money around, meaning that they're bringing it all home, so to speak.
They're bringing it home, okay.
They're bringing it all home. Yeah, so basically the story, as I understand it, is that the Vatican put a deadline out there, and I'm pretty sure it was September 29th, I think, was when his mandate says that all outlying funds that belong to the Vatican have to go into what they have is some kind of special fund that they bank themselves, which, had not been the case all the time. And my speculation is, and I'm speculating on this, guys, just give me some leeway, is that, they may have been just typical bank instruments like anybody else that has a lot of money, CDOs and money market funds. And what's the one, the mortgage-backed securities? That's the big one, right?
Mortgage-backed securities, yeah.
And so if you are the Vatican, you're privy to some pretty forward information. And so if you've got the jump on, the situation, you're going to get out of some of these toxic assets, turn it into cash as fast as you can. And if you're old world like the Vatican, you're going to get into some old world money and some old world hard assets as quick as you can.
Well, I guarantee you that cash ain't going to stay cash long. I bet you that's going into some hard, very intrinsic valued assets immediately.
Absolutely. They're getting ready for something.
Right. Don't panic. But things are definitely moving differently than what they used to.
Right.
And we don't know what that is. We can speculate. The economy's going through what it's going through, and we're not going to be political or anything like this, but you can't ignore the economy if you're going to talk about precious metals and, your financial health. So we got these things going on. The bottom line for me is if you have something that's going to at least mitigate some of your stress because you have something with value, that's always going to have value. And I'm not going to pump silver. You do what you want to do. But for me, this is what I'm doing. If I got silver in my possession, in my safe at home, I don't have to worry about what the bank's going to give me. Even though I do have money in the bank, if things go catastrophically wrong, I do have access to something with value that I can use to get the things I need. Right?
Absolutely.
Do something with your savings besides put it someplace where you have to ask for access to it.
Right.
At least a portion of it.
I like the 1-for-1 philosophy. So if you have one roll of toilet paper, 4 ball tires, and $100,000 in the bank, it's time to reallocate some of those funds into the things you need. Just take half of it. Get yourself a few packs of toilet paper. Get yourself 4 brand new tires for your car, and put the rest in the silver.
Yeah,
and then have half the savings in the bank.
Do that, right. I mean, I have other things besides silver, of course.
You do?
A few things. Not very many, but a few things. Always have a way out. Always have a backup plan, because the first plan will always fail. So silver is my backup plan. All right, so, we're going to end this with this. Will silver spot price go up? Now, everybody knows how I feel about spot price. You can't buy a spot price, and you shouldn't be selling that spot price or below. But will spot price go up, and does it matter?
Yeah, I don't think spot price going up is going to matter. It's not going to correlate with the actual retail price or intrinsic value of silver. It's just not going to happen again. I don't think it is. Unless we have some serious reset in the commodities exchange system. I think about a Silver Eagle this way. They got to pull the ore out of the ground, refine it. It takes people. It takes fuel. It takes materials and equipment to do this. They've got to, do like 2 or 3 levels of refinement, get it, to the mint. The mint has to actually make it into a coin, and then they have to get it to your house. To me, a Silver Eagle, as soon as I look at one and hold one, I'm like, this thing's worth $100. I don't even think twice about it. It's worth at least $100.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get it for $30
yeah.
and feel okay about it. That's just me. But the spot price will go up, but I don't think it's going to be able to match the retail price at all ever again.
Well, I'll tell you this. Demand is still high for silver. A lot of the local coin stores I visit in my city, still the silver levels, the physical silver levels are not where they used to be. And there's no end to that really in sight. I mean, maybe in the future, but right now it's still the same thing. They need silver. And the reason why that is because silver has become so popular now that it really is becoming spot price proof. Used to be spot price controlled a lot of people's attitudes towards silver. I believe we're getting past that. We're getting past that. People are starting to understand that the intrinsic value of silver far outweighs the spot price value, which is a control mechanism. I think people are starting to realize that. Anyway, so I think we'll end it right there. You got anything you want to add to that, my friend?
It's kind of tough if you're expecting silver to perform and finally take its place at the front of the table, but it's not quite time for that yet. Guys, let some more things shake out.
All right, my friend. Well, thank you very much, Silver 5150. Man, I appreciate when you shed so much light on the subject that we talk about. Your knowledge is very valuable, and I hope to have you back. Appreciate you guys for stopping by, listening to us, have a little fun. And, we got more great content coming up. Silver Train is rolling, and you have a ticket to ride. Keep stacking. Peace.